Greetings, friends. We are now into our second week of our homily series, the second Sunday in Lent, exploring the treasures within. Yeah, you and I are filled with all sorts of good things. And the treasure that we spoke about last week was our core identity. We have to nurture, we have to embrace our core identity like Jesus did when he was fighting Satan on the temptation, in the desert of temptation. Okay, so this week is the hope of glory. That's the treasure within, our hope of glory. You know, glory is the most important salvation term there is in the scriptures. Yes, you see, we were made in the image of God before the fall, clothed in glory. And we emphasize the glow in glory, okay? When we fell, we lost our glory, and quite frankly, it's kind of like losing your clothes, okay? Because what's the first thing that Adam and Eve did when they lost their glory? They covered themselves with fig leaves. That doesn't sound too glorious, does it? Well, so our fallen natural condition is described as nakedness, okay? That means we're exposed, vulnerable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think it might have been Shakespeare who said, the clothes makes the man. Okay, well, that's what salvation is all about too. Being clothed with glory. Okay? Because God is full of glory. And we can't relate with him ultimately for eternity unless we too are restored to the glory. Which takes us to the Abrahamic covenant in the Old Testament in reading today. You see, God chose Abraham and his seed to become a nation where God would restore the glory of his own people, but also the world. And he makes this covenant with Abraham. And in the old way of doing covenants back then, you'd have maybe like two kings, okay, and they were trying to make an agreement. And so what they do is they get these animals and they cut them in pieces. Very messy, okay. But anyways, they would pass through these pieces and they would look at each other and they would say, may what happened to these animals happen to me if I break the terms of this covenant? Okay, well. So, it's God who passes through these pieces, not Abraham. So God put Abraham in a deep sleep. Actually, that word tardema in the Hebrew is the same word that he did for Adam when he made Eve. He put him in a deep sleep. So Abraham is completely out of it, okay? And he's seeing this vision. And it is a smoking fire pot, terrible to behold. And what this is the smoke and the darkness is to shield even Abraham in his trance from seeing the direct glory of the Lord. But he could see that it's a fire and it's the glory of God passing through pieces. And God is really saying, Abraham, I'm going to fulfill my promise to you. And if not, may I become like one of these pieces, cut to pieces. How stronger can you get of an oath like that? So glory is there. The glory of God. It's called a theophany, passing through the pieces. And we have another theophany in the gospel where Jesus takes Peter, James, and John on the Mount of Transfiguration. And the glory of Jesus comes forth, you know, and Peter, James, and John, they're all struck. You know, Peter didn't know what to say, so he said it anyways. I think it's really funny. He said, well, let's see here. Let's make a temple or a house or booth here on this mountain for you and for Moses and for Elijah. And he's totally disregarded. It's like he wasn't even there. So anyways, that ever happened to you when you said something important, no one listened? Well, anyways, it's very important that the silence is there, because what Jesus was really saying is that no longer are we building these temples for when a theophany appears somewhere to worship me. Jesus himself is the glory of God, and when we are united with him, the glory of God comes within us. The hope of the glory within us. And this takes us to Apostle Paul. Okay, he says, wow, the people of this world, their glory is their shame. Isn't it true? We have to sort of show off in our sinfulness, glory and our shame, whose God is our bellies and that. But our citizenship is in heaven, from which we eagerly wait for a Savior who will transform the body of this lowly state into conformity with the glory of his resurrected body. Okay, that's the hope of the glory. So we can never, ever, ever, ever lose that treasure within us, which is the hope of God's glory. So, ponder that a little bit for this week as we enter into the second Sunday of Lent. God bless you. Bye.